On the broadcast tonight, the community gathers to recognize National Recovery Month.
And an update on last week's police incident in the borough.
All of that and more right now on SUTV News. Thanks for joining us on SUTV News. I'm Carson Devitt.
And I'm Michael Donegan.
Police responded to the area of 70 North 4th Street in the Chambersburg borough just after 5 o'clock last night. According to police, a woman was shot at the inside of the residence along with 2 dogs. The woman was not hit during the shooting, however, one of the dogs was injured and the other passed away. 47-year-old Clifton Nathaniel Gatling of Chambersburg was arrested by state police shortly after 9 o'clock and charged with criminal attempted homicide, cruelty to animals, discharging a firearm into a structure, and other charges. According to Chambersburg Police Lieutenant John Greenawalt, the investigation is still ongoing and more details will be released as it becomes available. Shippensburg Annual Corn Festival had vendors lining up and down King Street on Saturday, August 27th. This year was the celebration of the 41st Shippensburg Corn Fest. Tons of people from around the Shippensburg area flooded the streets from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. to enjoy the great food, entertainment, and shop from the various vendors. More than 250 craft and food vendors made an appearance. Craft vendors had plenty to offer the Shippensburg community, including jewelry, custom-made art prints, handmade candles, wreaths, and many more crafts. Food vendors also had a variety of delicious food to choose from: fresh crab cake sandwiches, funnel cakes, milkshakes, fresh cut fries, and so much more was there to taste. There was something for all visitors to enjoy. In addition to the food and craft vendors, there was a lineup of entertainment the entire day. All kinds of music were there for enjoyment, including classic rock, country, folk, and even island music with a dance performance from the Blue Ridge Thundercloggers. If you were unable to make it this year, the 42nd Corn Festival will return to Shippensburg next year on August 26th.
There's a lot to do around the Shippensburg community. SUTV's Carmine Chicatano has a look at some ways for students to enjoy the campus.
Feeling a little bored and looking for something to do around Shippensburg University? There's plenty of activities around campus if you know where to look. APB, the Activities Program Board, schedules a lot of events throughout the semester, from a rage room and smashing cars to a dance party in the parking lot. All the events are free and open to everyone. Just swipe in with your student ID and you're all set. Wondering where to find these events? You can visit ship.campusgroups.com and see a schedule of all of the upcoming events the campus has to offer. Additionally, the Lures Performing Arts Center on campus also has many shows throughout the semester. From the country band Lone Star to Baby Shark Live, there's sure to be a show for you. Overall, the campus has a diverse amount of events for every student to enjoy. You just need to know where to look. That's all for now. For SUTV News, I'm Carmine Chicatano. Now back to Carson and Michael at the desk.
If you want to see more about upcoming events, you can visit ship.campusgroups.com or visit lauracenter.com. The ACT Committee is inviting the campus community to take part in their yearly Quilt to Cover Us All. ACT, which stands for Ask, Communicate, and Teach Tolerance, is a student coalition that is part of the Multicultural Student Affairs Office. Panels should be made of fabric and be 25 by 25 inches long. Designs can include a phrase, slogan, picture, or any symbol that illustrates your group's perspective on the idea that hate has no home here at Shippensburg University. Submissions are due by September 20th, and the quilt will be revealed on September 30th.
Last Friday, August 26th, the Shippensburg area schools went into lockdown as Pennsylvania State Police searched for a man believed to be armed and dangerous. Shippensburg University sent out a text through SU Alerts at 3:30 p.m. on Friday. The message advised all of the campus community to shelter in place out of an abundance of caution. The suspect was identified as 32-year-old William Lewis, believed to be involved in a domestic dispute when the police were called. The police described Lewis as 5'7" and last seen in a black t-shirt with recognizable face tattoos. The police believe Lewis was on foot and advised the public not to engage with him and to call 911 if spotted. The university's shelter-in-place was then lifted at 4:30 p.m. when they announced via SU text alerts that increased police presence will be around campus. And then later that night at 7 o'clock p.m., the university sent a final update to SU students and staff that the suspect was taken into custody due to coordinated efforts from the SUPD and local law enforcement. Public court documents revealed Lewis was charged with a possession of prohibited firearm. Additionally, his bail was set at $75,000, and at this time he has not made bail. The hearing for Lewis will be held on Tuesday, September 6th. September is National Recovery Month, and some members of the campus and the community are showing their support. Let's go over to SUTV's Carmine Shippensburg, who has more.
National Recovery Month started in 1989 by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration and is held every September in order to support addiction recovery and treatment. The rise in opioid overdoses in the United States is an ongoing issue, and between 2019 and 2020, overdose deaths increased by 30%, with an approximate 107,000 deaths in 2021 alone. To help combat this on campus, the Eder Health Center has free Narcan available to students, which is used to effectively reverse the effects of an overdose. Last night, the Harbor held a vigil in honor of Overdose Awareness Day, and at 7 o'clock tonight, they lit their gazebo purple in honor of National Recovery Month. Back here on campus, tonight at 8:30, the fountain outside of Old Main will be lit up purple as well in honor of National Recovery Month. For SUTV News, I'm Carmine Shippensburg, now back inside to Carson and Michael at the desk.
If you or anyone you know is struggling with addiction, there are resources on campus to help. Visit ship.edu to get a full list of resources available through the Connection AOD program.
President Biden announced a historic student loan forgiveness plan last week. According to the White House, the three-part plan will see up to 43 million college students getting their total loan amounts cut by $10,000 if they make less than $125,000 a year. However, this amount is doubled to $20,000 for 27 million Americans who have received a Pell Grant. This comes after the COVID-19 pandemic had many calling for student loans to be canceled completely. You can sign up for loan forgiveness updates by going to ed.gov/subscriptions. And when we come back in world news, a former Soviet Union leader is dead.
And South Korea is preparing its military for potential threats. We have more after the break.
What's going on around the world lately?
SUTV's Colin Mays has what you need to know.
Former Soviet Union President Mikhail Gorbachev has died. Gorbachev assumed leadership of the Soviet Union in 1985 and served until it was dissolved in 1991. During that time, he marked an era of reform for the region after decades of Cold War nuclear threats. He was known for what he called perestroika and glasnost, which mean reform and openness, respectively. Gorbachev's time in office was marked by summit talks with President Ronald Reagan that resulted in partial nuclear disarmament. Reagan also issued an iconic call to him to end communism in Europe when he declared in 1987, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." 2 years later, the Berlin Wall would come down. In 1991, the Soviet Union also collapsed. Doctors say that Gorbachev died after a severe and prolonged illness. He was 91 years old. Officials in Ecuador are investigating the deaths of 4 giant tortoises in the Galapagos Islands. Investigators are looking into allegations that the endangered animals have been poached for their meat. The tortoises are among the longest living animals on the planet. Famed English biologist Charles Darwin even researched them in the 19th century. Hunting the tortoises is illegal, but experts note that wildlife hunters consider tortoise meat a delicacy. The nonprofit organization, the Galapagos Conservancy NGO, reported more than 15 animals having been found dead in the Galapagos in the last year. Authorities in Saudi Arabia say that 47 million amphetamine pills hidden in a flour shipment were seized at a warehouse after arriving through the dry port of the capital, Riyadh. 8 people were arrested on suspicion of smuggling the drugs, according to Saudi authorities, who added that the operation was one of the biggest one-time drug smuggling attempts in terms of narcotics seized. The country's narcotics enforcement agency said that it tracked the shipment and raided the warehouse, arresting 6 Syrian and 2 Pakistani nationals on suspicion of smuggling the drugs. South Korean and U.S. troops held a major live-fire exercise a short time ago, just a few dozen kilometers away from the border with North Korea. These are the largest field exercises in years for the two allies. Pyongyang denounces them as provocative, calling them a rehearsal of war, but they come after a flurry of North Korean missile tests, and as Pyongyang continues to defy the international community with its nuclear program. Paula Hancock went to the drills. Here's her report.
Face kind of combined live fire drills have not been seen for some time here on the Korean Peninsula. The scenario, a joint US-South Korean counterattack to an invasion by an unnamed enemy. Around 30 kilometres, 18 miles south of the demilitarised zone and North Korea, it's not hard to imagine who that enemy might be.
Oh, the greater the threat, the greater the alliance, and the greater the training and the purpose of training, the focus of training. And I think that threat is, we're all here for a reason.
All clear and ready to conduct counterattack.
Shell goes in, goes up, and this is the safety handle.
Now, both militaries are at pains to point out that these are defensive in nature, but it's simply not the way that North Korea sees them. They believe that these are a dress rehearsal for an invasion. We've had Kim Yo-jong, Kim Jong-un's sister, calling them anti-North war exercises. Now, we haven't seen this for some time, partly because of COVID-19. There were many simulated exercises during that time, but not these large live fire drills. And also back in 2018, then US President Donald Trump put these kind of drills on hold, saying that he wanted to give diplomacy a chance, calling them war games, saying that they simply didn't have a place while he was talking to the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. With new leadership in both the US and South Korea came a decision to expand these exercises in the face of missile launches and a feared seventh nuclear test from North Korea. North Korea making it clear it's in no mood to talk to either the US or South Korea. So these drills will continue, both sides saying it's very important that they have more chance to fight together and to train together so they have readiness for whatever may come. Paula Hancock, CNN, South Korea.
That's it for World News This Week. I'm Cullen Mays. Now let's send it back to Carson and Michael at the desk.
When we come back in entertainment, a beloved tradition is returning to campus right in time for Halloween.
Stay tuned.
Are you a student athlete that is looking?
Michael, it's crazy to think that just about a year ago, Shippensburg was practically underwater with the hurricane that came through the area.
Oh yeah, and absolutely. And even this past Monday, we got a lot of rain. A little bit of a storm hit the area, and I just hope we don't see the same within the next week.
I completely agree with you.
Now let's send it over to Carmine Chicatano with a look at this week's weather.
Thanks, Michael. Well, it may be September already, but summer's still holding on to the region. Today, we had a high of 86 degrees, and tonight we'll be dipping down into the upper 50s. Tomorrow, we're right back up to a high of 85 and a comfortable low of around 65. Looking ahead to the weekend, and we have a high of 90 on both Saturday and Sunday, along with a chance for some afternoon thunderstorms on Sunday. Starting out next week, we have a little bit of relief with a high of only 84. Tuesday, it'll be partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s once again, with a moderate chance for some afternoon storms. For Wednesday, temperatures stay the same with another high of 85. Thursday, sunny and warm with a high of 87. Finally, ending off the week on Friday with a high of 88 degrees. While this heat may be hanging around for now, the season of pumpkin spice and warm blankets will be upon us soon enough. So make sure to get out and enjoy the warm weather while it lasts. For SUTV News, I'm Carmine Chicatano. Now let's send it over to Adam Beam with a look at this week's entertainment highlights.
Well, it may be the first day of September, but it's never too early to plan for Halloween. And it wouldn't be Halloween here at SHIP without the annual production of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. What started as a commercial and critical failure, 1975's The Rocky Horror Picture Show slowly grew in popularity thanks to midnight screenings. The film, which stars Tim Curry, Susan Sarandon, and Meatloaf, is one that is filled with moments for the audience to take part in. Whether it be yelling dirty jokes or taking that step to the right in the aisles during the time warp, it's been such a popular tradition that the film now holds the record as the longest-running theatrical release of all time. The Rocky Horror Picture Show has also been a tradition here at Shippensburg since 2015 under Act 5. However, following the pandemic and the dissolving of Act 5, it was up to the Page Center to bring back Rocky, and bring back Rocky they did. The show made its triumphant return in 2021, and it's now time to do it all again. If you and your hot patootie want to bless your souls with this production, the show will be held Wednesday, October 26th, the 27th, and the 28th. If you're interested in helping out with this year's production, you can contact Sadie Walshaw at sw9232@ship.edu. Well, it's one of music's biggest nights, so of course there were some big surprises and jaw-dropping moments. Here with their recap is SUTV's Jess Boozle.
From Nicki Minaj to Taylor Swift to Johnny Depp to Young Gravy, here's a recap on some highlights from the 2022 MTV Video Music Awards. Jack Harlow opened the show by performing First Class and followed to present Fergie, who came out to sing Glamorous. Music listeners know that Harlow's song samples Fergie's song, so seeing them perform together was, as one would say, glamorous. And you know those sleepless nights when your mind just keeps wandering or worrying or wallowing. We all know what it's like, and so does Taylor Swift. While accepting the award for Video of the Year, Taylor Swift announced the release of her new album, Midnights. She says in this album she'll share the stories of 13 sleepless nights scattered throughout her life. The award-winning artist tweeted the news not long after she made the big announcement. The new album will be her first full-length set of new material since last year's Evermore. It's due out October 21st. Another thing that happened at the VMAs that most people didn't expect was that Johnny Depp virtually made his first public appearance since his controversial defamation trial against Amber Heard. He welcomed viewers back after 2 commercial breaks with a pre-recorded video of his face projected onto the helmet of a large version of a moon person. Blackpink and Nicki Minaj also had memorable worthy performances. Blackpink performed their new single Pink Venom. This was the group's first U.S. award show performance. This allowed them to showcase both their savvy dance skills as well as each member's individual talents. Nicki Minaj showed that she earned the Video Vanguard Award. She performed a mix of her best songs such as Anaconda, Monster, Super Bass, and her most recent song, Super Freaky Girl. Also during her acceptance speech for her award, she paid tribute to artists who have inspired her such as Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Lil Wayne, Foxy Brown, Lauryn Hill, and Jay-Z. She also thanked some of her collaborations like Kanye West, Beyonce, Madonna, Eminem, Britney Spears, and Rihanna. Some other award winners of the night were Bad Bunny for Artist of the Year, Billie Eilish with Happier Than Ever for the Song of the Year, Dove Cameron for Best New Artist, and Lil Nas X and Jack Harlow with Industry Baby for Best Collaboration. And to add a little drama to the night, rapper Young Gravy drew attention to himself by bringing TikTok star Addison Rae's mother, Sherry Sterling, as his date. The two were seen displaying major PDA all night. It's safe to say this year's VMAs displayed some glamorous performances, had some surprises, and some drama that made sure no one there or watching at home was snoring before midnight. For SUTV News, I'm Jess Boozle.
It was definitely one of the stranger stories to come out this year when it was announced that beloved children's icon Winnie the Pooh would be the villain of an upcoming slasher movie. And now we have our first full look at the film. The film is titled Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and will see Christopher Robin return to the 100-acre woods after abandoning it for several years. In that time, his once cuddly friends Pooh and Piglet have become feral killers who have plans for the grown-up Robin and the grown-up campers nearby. It's important to note that despite the appearance of our titular characters, the film has no relation to the animated Disney version of these characters. Rather, this film is made possible due to the original A.A. Milne stories falling into the public domain. As of right now, there is currently no release date set for the film, but it is expected to drop direct to VOD later this year. Coming to a theater near you, National Cinema Day is right around the corner. This Saturday, September 3rd, all movie tickets are only $3. As what's hoping to be a new yearly initiative, the discount is set for more than 3,000 theaters and more than 30,000 screens. Coming back into theaters this National Day is the return of our favorite web-slinger in Spider-Man No Way Home, the More Fun Edition. This comes with new content and deleted scenes. Other movies making an appearance is the horror film The Invitation, the action comedy Bullet Train, Beast, and in some theaters, the big return of everyone's favorite beach lover, Steven Spielberg's Jaws, will hit IMAX screens for the first time ever this weekend. This discount is a one-day only offering, so if you are a movie lover, don't miss out on this amazing opportunity. That's it for this week's entertainment. I'm Adam Beebe. Now let's send it back over to Carson and Michael at the desk.
When we come back in sports, we have recaps of men's and women's soccer.
We have more after the break.
The Cubs. On Wednesday afternoon, men's soccer opened up their season at David C. Field against Slippery Rock.
will pick up action 19 minutes to go in the first. Junior Seth Crabb dribbles, dribbles, dribbles. Then he's going to take the shot, wraps it in off the post, and it's in the net. Raiders lead 1-0. We move on to the second half. Same score, 1-0, and a great pass from defender Nathan Weldon finds Crabb again, goes to the same spot in the net. Raiders up 2-0 later in the half. Harry Kershaw is going to come in and make a great slide tackle as the team celebrates. Just missed the tackle. Kershaw finds a wide open Crabb, buries it in the same spot. Third time's the charm. Hat trick for Seth Crabb. Raiders shut out Slippery Rock 3-0. Raiders' next game will be on Saturday when they travel to a neutral site to play Jefferson at 2:30. Women's soccer returned to the pitch yesterday, facing off against the 16th-ranked Westchester squad. The Raiders held their own with sophomore keeper Morgan Molyneux making 9 saves in the net. Westchester would get by Molyneux only once on a penalty kick in the 39th minute. Raiders would fall to the Golden Rams 1-0. They make their home debut this Saturday against 13th-ranked Kutztown beginning at 2:30. Cross country returns this weekend, kicking off a busy weekend for Ship athletes. The men's team is ranked second in the PSAC preseason polls. Raiders return 11 runners from a season ago, including NCAA Division II National Championship qualifiers Hayden Hunt and Chase McNair. As for the women's team, they're ranked 8th in the polls. The team returns 7 runners from last fall, featuring 2 All-Atlantic region runners in Kyra Gerber and Isabel Golgert. Cross country begins their season tomorrow night with the Galen Piper Alumni Open and Cross Country Challenge. The Raiders take to the gridiron this weekend for the kickoff of the 2022 college football season. Traveling down to West Virginia State on Saturday, the Raiders team looks much different than a season ago. Shippensburg sits 4th in the PSAC East preseason poll behind Shepherd, Kutztown, and Westchester. The Raiders return some star players, including wide receiver Ian Sheehan, kicker Jackson Montross, and a really solid defensive line, including Jacoby Sherrard and Chisholm Afani. The quarterback room this year looks entirely different after Bryson Musina graduated last year. Sam Johnson III and Joey McCracken are both Division I transfers, and both are possible options for the starting job. McCracken played with the first offense during the spring game back in April. Johnson was sidelined due to an injury. The Raiders have a noon kickoff Saturday at West Virginia State. The defending national champion field hockey team is getting prepared to get back to work this weekend. The Raiders sit atop the PSAC preseason polls for this season, fresh off of their first conference title since 2005. The Raiders are returning 15 players from a season ago, including 2 All-PSAC players and 1 NCAA All-Tournament player. Field hockey kicks off their regular season on Saturday at Rob Sports Complex against St. Anselm at noon. And finally tonight, a new segment, if you want to call it that, for sports this week, our Player of the Week. Not a lot of sports have happened yet this week, but it's a pretty easy decision, right? Based off of his performance yesterday, Seth Crabb. Here's goal number 1, as I mentioned, off the post and in. The junior from England has been a force on the Ship soccer team since his freshman season in 2019, leading the team in goals the last 2 seasons. Yesterday, he picked up his first career hat trick, and we have to admire this third goal. There's the second. He goes over. Team starts to celebrate. Here's the third one. Harry Kershaw slides in, makes the tackle, comes away with the ball. He takes off, cuts to the left, back to the right, and then he finds Crabb wide open on the right side. Bam, fires it in to the corner. Crabb was part of the All-PSAC Eastern Division first team a season ago, and he's off to a fiery start this year. He'll return to the pitch Saturday against Jefferson in a neutral site game at 2:30 p.m. That's the sports for the week. I'm Jacob Hitz. Back over to Michael and Carson at the desk.
When we come back, a penguin at the San Diego Zoo gets some snazzy shoes.
Stay tuned.
Remember the 2006 animated film Happy Feet? Well, it starred a dancing penguin. But that flightless bird's feet couldn't possibly be as happy as the penguin at the San Diego Zoo just got his very own custom pair of boots. 4-year-old Lucas had been struggling with a case of bumblefoot, an infection that causes swelling and painful lesions in the feet. Enter Therapaw, a New Jersey-based company that specializes in boots and other protective footwear for animals. They used molds of Lucas's feet to create a special pair of orthopedic boots. There is extra padding on the bottom, and the black shade looks as close to his natural foot color as possible, so as not to stand out too much. The boots were a success, enabling Lucas to get back to socializing with the other penguins. And get this, Zookeepers say he even has a girlfriend now.
You know, Michael, it's a great thing they didn't make the penguins pay for these boots on themselves, or else they would have had to tap into some of their cash from the snowbank.
Yeah, and I bet when those two lovebirds met each other, they had no problem breaking the ice. That's it for SUTV News. I'm Michael Donegan.
And I'm Carson Devitt. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at SUTV News.
And check out our website, sutvnews.org. We'll see you next week. Good night.